Today I'm excited to share the Cricut Maker machine with you. So this is Cricut's newest machine. Just like their other machines, it can cut all kinds of stuff, but the big feature for this machine is that it can cut fabric. Now, one of their previous machines cut fabric, or one or more of their previous machines cut fabric, but it had to be bonded to a stabilizer. So this machine can cut it without a stabilizer, which is really cool. And the possibilities for what you could make with this are really endless. It can also cut thin balsa wood, which just totally blows my mind. So I'm definitely gonna have to try that out at some point. But today I wanna focus on using this machine to cut fabric. So I'm gonna turn it on, we'll get it set up. We're gonna cut out some pieces for a little triangle pincushion. I think it's gonna be cute. But the first thing I wanna talk about is the sample project that comes with it when you open your machine. I almost skipped making it because, I don't know, not really a direction follower, but I'm super glad that I did. It's this really cute little card. So it's got a little fabric piece on it. There's pen drawing on it, and then it's got little details that are cut out. So it walks you through getting the machine set up. It walks you through using the Cricut Design Space, which is the website, the program that you're going to use to tell the machine what to cut. I'm currently using it on a laptop, but you can use it on a smart device like an iPad or something as well. And you can connect things Bluetooth to it as well as plugging it in with a cable. So anyways, the project. You get to cut paper, draw, and cut the fabric all with this machine, which is like, I kind of wish I had videotaped myself making it because I've never used one of these before. I've never even seen one being used, so I was like my mind was blown. It was sort of magical, like, whoa, it just did all that for me. So anyways, it's pretty cool, gets you comfortable with it, gets you comfortable with using the machine, and honestly, I thought it was going to be harder. I thought it was going to be more complicated, and making this project showed me that it's really easy. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that we're in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing, we're going to go ahead and turn on the machine. I like how the little table just goes really slowly. So I'm going to turn on the machine with this little button right here. It's gonna make some noises while it is like, I don't know, warming up or something. It's got stuff to do that I don't understand, but that's okay. Okay, so now the machine is on, and when you open your machine, you're gonna notice that it's preloaded with a cutter. And this is the fine point blade, so it can cut a lot of different thin materials, so paper, cardstock, vinyl, the iron-on transfer material, but we need the rotary blade in order to cut fabric. So that's a separate little blade. It's got its own little housing, and you'll notice it's like a teeny tiny rotary cutter blade, which is just so cute. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know what I was expecting it to look like. It's kind of adorable. Okay, so it's super easy to change the blade out. All you're gonna do is pull on this little clamp to release this housing. We'll pull out the blade. I'm gonna set that somewhere safe. And then to load in the rotary cutter blade, just gonna slide it in there, close this, and then clamp it in place. Wait, did I get it in there? Yeah, well, I did the first time. Typical. Okay, so now the rotary cutter is all in place. The other thing that you need beyond fabric for this is one of the fabric grip mats. So these are pink. This one is 12 by 12, but they also make a longer one that I believe is 12 by 18 for your larger projects. So what we want to do first is we want to design our pattern so that we can figure out how much fabric we need and then load it into the machine. So let's go ahead and hop over into the design space, and I'll show you how we're gonna make our pincushion pattern. So now we are in the Cricut design space, and we are going to design our pincushion. So I'm just on the home page here, and I'm gonna go over here and click New Project. Okay, so now I'm taken to the canvas so I can start building my project. And I know I want my pincushion to be made up of 6 equilateral triangles for the top, and I want 3 cut out of one fabric and 3 cut out of another fabric. So I'm going to go over here on the left and choose Shapes, And then I'm going to choose triangle. Voila, and it made a triangle for me. So I can see here my triangle right now is a little over 3 inches tall and a little over 3.5 inches wide. And I want my triangle to be like 2.5 inches tall. So I have it selected, and I'm going to come up here and change the height to 2.5, and it'll scale that proportionately for me. So now I have one triangle, and I want 3. So I'm going to come over here. I have it selected again. I'm going to come over here and hit duplicate, and I'm going to hit that one more time. So now I have 3. And I'm going to move these around, but I'm not really laying them out because the software is going to figure out the best arrangement for me on the next page. So I've got my triangles, and I am ready to move on. So I'm going to go over here and click Make It. All right, so now it's going to allow me to choose the size of my fabric that I'm cutting from. So it's going to change the arrangement of the shapes based on the piece of fabric. So I am going to choose, I cut my fabric 8.25 by 10. And this is a good way if you don't want to cut your fabric before. You can figure out in here, this is going to tell you how big of a piece you need, how many you're going to need. I cheated and came in here and figured it out because I definitely cut a piece that was too small the first time. I haven't experimented yet with whether or not you can cut smaller pieces, like a 6, like a 6 by 7 I would think would do, but for now I'm just going to follow the directions, let it do its thing, and not tempt fate. So I can easily get my 3 pieces off of this, out of this 8.25 by 10 inch piece. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay, now it's looking for my machine. I am plugged into it, so it found it very quickly, and it's saying it's plugged in with a USB. And like I said, you can also connect with Bluetooth, and it would say that there for you. So now I need to tell it what kind of material it's cutting. I want to cut fabric, and I am cutting cotton. So I'm going to choose the cotton setting. And now it's telling me go ahead and load in the rotary blade, which we did, and then it wants me to load in the mat. So let's go over to the machine and we'll load the mat in and then press the button before we move on within the software. Okay, so now that we know what size to cut our fabrics, I've gone ahead and cut my 2 fabrics that I'm going to use. And we want to lay it out on our fabric rip mat. So I'm going to put it up here right along the edges. And I'm going to smooth it out. The mat is sticky, so I want all the edges to be stuck down. And there we go. I've got my piece on my mat. Okay, so now that we are set up in Design Space and we've got our mat ready to go with our fabric, we're going to go ahead and load the mat into the machine. So you can see the machine is ready. This little loading button is flashing for me. But what I want to do, I want to push my mat in so that it is up against these little black rollers. And then I'm going to press that button and it's going to suck the mat into the machine, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty sure it's like reading the mat to make sure it's centered and figure out where your fabric is and stuff. Don't hold me to that, but I like to think that's what it's doing. Okay, so now it's saying, hey, I'm ready to go. That's why my little Cricut button is flashing. So let's go ahead and press that button. Okay, it's gonna start cutting. It's talking to the machine, I think. Like the cutter is talking to the rest of the machine. That's my best guess. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's done cutting, and it's telling me that I need to release the mat. Cool, okay, Okay, let's see how it did. I'm gonna just pull up this grass side. Ah, look at my triangles. Okay, that's so cool. Okay, now I'm gonna carefully pull up the triangles. And you can Cricut makes a bunch of little tools that you can use to make this easier. I don't know which one I would use. I don't know, maybe this one? Maybe some tweezers? Oh yeah, that's nice and easy. Like I said, this is the second fabric thing I've cut so far, so this is all new to me. Okay, yay, look at that. I have my 3 little fabric pieces cut. So now I'm gonna load the mat up again with my other fabric and cut that. Okay, so I totally realized if I had been really organized, I have more than one of these mats. I could have had the, the second fabric already loaded up, but you know, like I said before, this is only my second project, so not quite with it yet, but we're working through it. Okay, so I'm going to, got it all smoothed out, get it all smoothed out, and I'm going to load it in just like I did the first one. I've got it up against the little rollers. Like I said, this little flashing light to load the mat is flashing at me, telling me to do stuff. So, there we go. It's reading the mat. Maybe. Okay, and now it's saying, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna press it. Oh, is it not ready to go? Okay, so I was kind of wondering because I didn't tell it to do anything else on the computer again. So I'm gonna go back to the computer and tell it to do it again. Okay, so false alarm. I was just going over to the computer to tell it to cut again and it started going. So, yay. Yep, and now it's cutting. So, cool. Learning experience. So I'm trying to take you along for the whole process rather than get it perfected and then show you how it works because I do feel like there's a perceived learning curve with these machines. And I mean, clearly there has been a learning curve, but I just wanted to, you know, be honest that I'm trying to figure it out as I go. And yeah, I think it's all gonna work out, so pretty cool. Okay, so it's done cutting and it's telling me I don't want this mat anymore. Okay, let's see how it did. I gotta say, that is so slick. Okay, I'm gonna try to use this little... Oh yeah, okay, that is pretty easy with that. Sweet. Okay, so now I have all the pieces for my little pin cushion. Kind of imagined laying them out. Something like that, we'll see. Cool. So you will notice that there's a little bit of fraying where I pulled it off the mat, but it's super minimal. I'm not worried about it since I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm not concerned, and just the fact that I didn't have to cut all of those by hand, I am jazzed. So I have finished my pin cushion. Here it is. I pieced all the triangles that we cut out earlier into a little pin cushion top, and then I used the top to cut myself a backing piece that was the same size. And filled it with crushed walnut shells, which is my very favorite pincushion filling. It gives pincushions a really nice weight, and then they can double as pattern weights too. So, bonus. Yeah, that's about it. So, a huge thank you to Cricut for sending along their maker machine. I've really enjoyed getting to play with it, and I know that there's going to be all kinds of projects, especially around the house, I feel like, that I can take advantage of this machine. I'm already planning my next project. It's going to be an English paper piecing project, so look for that next week. We'll see what else I come up with. But I'm really looking forward to using the paper cutting and fabric cutting capabilities to completely design and cut out all the pieces for an English paper pieced project. So, like I said, stick around for that next week. And yeah, looking forward to playing around with this machine. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, if you want to learn more about the maker, there will be a link in the post. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link down below to the Cricut website where you can find out more about this machine. So thanks. Bye.